Does anyone have any changes or corrections that they would like to make to the agenda?
Hearing none, I move for approval of the overview of the agenda.
All in
Second.
favor, say aye.
Second.
Aye. All right, it has been approved. The next item is the consent agenda. As you'll see there, we have two items to approve. One is the approval of claims and warrants L555, and the other is the approval of the regular meeting minutes from the May 25th meeting.
I have a question
Yes, ma'am.
about the claims and warrants. On page 6, I saw an $8,000 charge for Lion Mechanical. What was that for?
That is our maintenance that we have annually for the system.
Okay, perfect. And then I saw also that you guys are doing the Reebok signs. How many boxes are there and where are the locations?
We have 3 locations, 3 boxes, one at ITC Park, one at Lakeshore Park, and one at Rotary Park.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Good. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
I have some question about the minutes. Page number 11, under D, Ms. Fargus noted that the library is still waiting to a state aid check. Have we received?
We have not received the check as of this date.
And next page is Trustee Bobert asked Ms. Fargus, what percentage of library users are older adults?
I'm sorry, where are you with?
Under C.
Under C. Second.
We do reach out to other senior communities in Novi.
You said what percentage of library users are older adults? That's what she was asking.
The second bullet
I'm
point.
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
We have not run those numbers yet. I don't have them. We ran them a couple years ago. I'll be happy to run those figures for you. And are you looking for 55 and older? Okay, great.
Yeah, I was going to ask what qualifies as an older adult when we do that, so.
Well, with going with the city, I know that they have identified 55 plus.
The older adults are 55 rather than AARP. We just advertise and do so much for youth, which is absolutely wonderful, and I applaud it. And we don't seem to advertise as much for the older adult, and it seems that we're missing a big resource, both for contributions as well as for use of services.
Okay, thank you.
So here we are looking for 55 and older? Otherwise,
Older
people
adults.
62 and older. 55? Okay.
That's what they do at Novi. That's considered an older adult,
Oh, okay.
55.
Okay, page number 13, under 12, F, Building Landscape Committee, that Trustee Lauder and Trustee Verma met the Luminet, discussed the bid. Have they submitted any?
They've done the walkthrough. They have not submitted yet the proposal and all of the information. They said it would take 2 to 3 weeks.
So only that company to whom we met the other day, they are going to submit to you?
They are the one that will do all of the bid spec
Okay.
information, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
But they've started a walkthrough based
They
on
did.
the report.
They've done the preliminary work. It's now for them to provide the report.
Thank you very much.
So should that spec be completed in the next week or two?
We'd be still looking at probably just after July 1st for putting it out to bid. We're still in a good time frame.
So hearing none, I move the approval of the consent agenda.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving right along, we have some correspondence to discuss.
I'm sorry.
We have some correspondence, I
We
believe.
do, yes. On page 15, I wanted to bring attention to all of you because I thought, we don't typically get very negative comments from patrons. But the reason why I brought this one to you is because it's a good talking point and learning for the process of the library based on her demands and concerns for what she thought was not being done. So Ms. Potts had a concern with our audio books and potential for scratching and things like that. I definitely reached out to her right away and explained our process. We do have a CD cleaning machine, and when those materials are alerted to us by the patrons, we make sure that it goes through a process of cleaning and looking at them. As you all know, we have thousands of materials in the building. It would not be probably the best use of time for us to actually be going physically into the collection and looking at these materials on a daily basis. What we look for is our patrons to help us and identify if something is scratched or not working properly. However, this was a great opportunity for us to work with the support services department to see if there's something more we can do, and we will continue to do that. So I just wanted the board to be aware of that. So I think that we gave her a good response for how we do the process, and we do rely on volunteers to help us with that process as well, just knowing how busy the staff is.
Well, you wrote this very nicely.
Great, thank you.
Commend you for that.
Yes,
I also found it to be very gracious and accurate, and you're able to write these things without patronizing the people.
Correct.
Which is
Yep.
somewhat of an art.
Yep.
I also appreciate you bringing these things to
Sure.
us, because the vast majority of what we see is positive.
Right.
It's nice to see the things, even this one, that.
absolutely. Well, and I could see this maybe even coming up in conversation. You might run into a neighbor or something that might have a similar situation, and this will give you some talking points to let them know, how things are going.
One of the things I've noticed when I've checked out material that came from other libraries, and I can't tell you which library does this or how many, but there's a small, maybe 3-inch by 3-inch piece of paper that comes with the CD or whatever movie, and it says, essentially, thanks for helping us. Please indicate if you've had any problems with this. I'm sure the wording is better than that, but
Sure.
conceptually, if we were to do that, because
It's
it
a
might
great
prompt
idea.
someone to
To
just
say
fill that out
something,
as
yes.
opposed to look for a piece of paper and pencil and
It's a
think
great
about it.
idea. It's a
So
great idea.
that might help a little bit.
Great, thank you, I appreciate this.
I also commend you on the non-defensive tone.
Well, I'm hoping we still keep her as a patron. And then the second, I'm sorry, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, it's great that she did acknowledge you, so obviously your character has been made known to her, because she said she
Yes.
appreciates you, Julie.
Right,
So,
yeah,
I think that helps too, that you've already planted a seed of goodwill.
right, yes. And the second correspondence I wanted to share with you, because it was from me to the school district. As you know, we were at the end of our school year just last week, and I just wanted you to see a letter that I sent out thanking the school district for the amazing support that they give us each year. I sent, as you can see, an amazing, for lack of a better term, laundry list of things that we've been active in with the school district just in the past year. And we could not do it with all the many teachers and administrators that have been part of projects that have been successful for us and in turn then successful for them. So I truly appreciate the relationship that we have with the school district, and it's kind of sad to be taking a break from them because we really like interacting with them. So I know that summer will go by fast and we will be back in touch, but.
Were these sent out individually or to school staff, or what was the direction?
This was actually sent out individually to teachers and administrators that I know that I work with personally on a regular basis. So I can tell you there were close to 40 emails that went out
That's
to
great.
people that we have a regular connection and pulse with.
Nice.
I think I can speak for the board in saying that we are all very pleased that we have the relationship with all the schools in
Right.
our area.
Yes.
That we do. It's, we can do a lot to help them with their students, and they can help us to do those things.
Correct.
So it's good that we've got that and that you're maintaining it.
Thank you. And that's all I have for correspondence.
All right. We do not, I believe, have a presentation or a special guest,
We do not?
which brings us to the first of two opportunities for public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 5-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, therefore, library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. Seeing no one coming forward, we will move on to number 9, which is the student representative report.
So I'm happy to take any questions based on their report that was submitted. Unfortunately, both ladies were unable to make the event, our meeting tonight, due to a school event that they were taking part in. So as you can see, they've had some amazing programs that occurred in May. And then they're looking forward to, with summer reading, they're looking forward to some great events in July. I'll announce a few of those events. They have a readathon on July 8th. They have a taste test on July 11th. STEAM challenges, which, as you know, has become a very popular topic in libraries, but also just in schools and in education as well. And that's July 12th. Tween summer reading readathon. So you can see there's 2 different age groups for a readathon. That'll be July 15th. A do-it-yourself animal shelter blankets project on July 19th. Comic art camp on July 20th. And rock wall climbing adventure on July 26th. With it being summer reading, there's lots of different activities for all the different age groups this summer and for the next few months.
Yeah, that's a pretty full schedule.
Yes.
Especially when you say that school's out
Right.
and it's vacation time, so that's terrific.
Looking at this photo, the nachos and tacos looks very succulent,
Yeah, I think they had a lot of fun, yes. They definitely love food at their programs.
Well, I was impressed that 72
I
attended the
know.
Cinco de Mayo celebration.
I can tell you that what's worked for the teen programming is having that relationship with the teen space. And Lindsay has tended to plan programming knowing that there's an active audience in the teen space.
Great.
Any other comments on the student rep report? Next, point 10, the goals update. As I think everyone will recall, we will do that in July as opposed to this meeting. That way we'll have the quarter and year-end information to go over. So look forward to a good year-end recap next month.
That will be July means, is there any date on that?
Our July meeting?
Yes.
Okay, July
Yes,
meeting.
it's-
Yeah, it's at our regular July meeting, yes.
27.
27th,
July
yes.
27th.
Moving along to the treasurer's report. Trustee Augusta.
Could you go slow? Because I had a hard time with this time for some reason. Thank you.
Yes, I will go slow, and
Good.
and ask questions.
Good.
All right, so this is just a recap on page 19. Under the 2016, 2017 approved, you can see we have approved budget for fiscal year 16-17 of revenues of $2,774,726. Moving to the approved expenditures, which is on page 21. Under approved, it's $3,035,900, using fund balance of $261,174. The revenue and expenditure report for Fund 268 starts on page 23. So these, I'm starting on page 23, these are just a listing of all the revenue expenditures, and it goes all the way through to the page 26. So if you look right in the middle, you'll see Fund 268 Library Fund, and it says total revenues, total expenditures on the left-hand side. If you go all the way across, under year-to-date balance, which is the third column from the end, you can see total revenues year-to-date is $2,819,222.96. Total expenditure, I'm sorry, I had to expand on that. So the revenue for year-to-date has increased by $32,402 from last month. Total expenditures for year-to-date, effective May 31st, is $2,410,597.29, which is an increase from last month of $218,914. So just to kind of summarize it, our budget for is $3,035,900. We've used $2,410,597. So for the rest of our fiscal year, we still have $625,303. So we still have over 3 months of budget left with only 2 months of fiscal year left. So, yes, so we are still very much on track
That's my happy
for not using fund balance and actually having credit. That will stay in our fund balance account.
So that's when we do the happy dance?
Yes.
I'm
We
doing
can
it now.
continue it?
Yeah.
I'm doing it now.
Yes.
Because I know that we're gonna be good.
Yes, for sure. If I could back up just for a second to page 19, you talked about the first green column, which was the 16, 17 approved. Would you didn't comment on the next column, that can sometimes be confusing. Can you explain that one to everybody?
We
please?
did. So we talked about that last month, that's kind of an estimate that Julie has presented to the city based on where we're at and what our actual averages are of what she's anticipating. So that's just a guesstimate.
Okay.
Right.
Because it's still showing on the bottom of page 21 that we're going to use $103,000 of the fund balance, and we are not on track to do that.
Correct.
Okay, anything else before I continue with Fund 269? I'm going to combine the budget report and the revenue expenditure report, just so you can get a clearer picture of 269. So, sorry, I didn't write a page number down.
Page 28, 29?
On page 27. The little half page there, same thing if you see on the left-hand side, total revenues, and then go across. So, year-to-date, our revenue is $24,239. So that's an increase last month of $7,250. In year-to-date expenditures, you can see are only $8,533. That was only an increase of $457. So that's actually creating a net revenue of $15,705. Our budget for the fund balance 269 revenue expenditures are even $32,000. So we are on track for our revenues, and they're extremely underspending for our expenditures.
Great.
Any questions about that? Okay. All right, so balance sheet. So that's on page 28 for fund balance 269. If you go down to the bottom where it says ending fund balance, the second to the last line, you can see our fund balance currently is $2,162,847.33. And on page 29, fund balance 269, ending balance is $1,687,518.46.
So how does that compare to our budget?
That's just a running total of it. It's kind of apples and oranges in a sense.
Okay.
How would you describe that, Craig?
Yeah, the balance sheet versus, all the balance sheet does is show you what we started the year with in the balance and where we're at right now.
Right.
So as you spend or don't spend money, this goes up and down. So it's just kind of like balancing your checkbook at the end of the month. What do you got left?
Thank you.
Very nice, thank you. Okay, director's report is next, Julie.
Okay, so we're looking at page 30. There's some information about Out and About and some of the activities that I took part in for the month of June. Did have a vacation there for a week, so there was a little less activity. Following that was the Novi Career Prep commencement. We were invited. This is our third year that we've been taking part with the school district and with recognizing these amazing students. Jessie Shank, who's one of our full-time librarians, attended the event, and we give a gift of books that we allow the students to pick as they're coming off stage and after they receive their diploma. So it's been a nice opportunity for us to connect with those students. On page 30.
About how many students are involved in the career prep?
About 30. Yep. And then page 31, I wanted to just give you Gail Anderson, actually, I asked her to provide a little overview of the On the Road event that took place in April. This was another very successful event for us. As you can see, the expenses and then the amount that was raised for this event. I think it's been an ongoing opportunity for us to connect with our older adults and, provide a unique opportunity to travel somewhere and experience history as well as some culture in some of the communities that surround us. And we will be looking to planning a Grand Rapids trip in the fall. So we typically can take close to 80 patrons, residents with us, and that we've always heard really good things about this type of opportunity. So, and we thank Kathy Crawford, who's one of our partners in doing this. She's been attending the trips with us. She brings her humor and a lot of her history and wit, really, to the event. So we all have a good time when we attend. On page 32, 33, and 34, and 35, I'm going to let, yes, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I just had one quick question.
Sure.
On the road. Have we ever had a board member represented there, like, to give?
We haven't, so I would love if a board member could attend. I think they're looking to actually do it on a Saturday in the fall, so that might be more doable for you in terms of schedules. And as soon as I have a date, I'll be happy to let you know.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
So what they will be doing in Grand Rapids?
I don't have the date, but I can get it for you. But I know it will be a Saturday, I believe. And then following the next 4 pages, I'm actually going to skip over. I'll let our events and marketing committee talk about that. Page 37 is just a flyer for you to see about the summer lunch program going on in the community. The library does partake, and we provide volunteers when we can. Also, I wanted to let you know that we're doing something a little special with the attendees. If children don't have library cards and they approach us at Feed the Need and they're not registered as a library user, we created special library cards that could be handed out right at the event for the kids to use and come in and use through the summer. They expire in September, but this was a way to connect with the kids right away and allow them to feel like they were part of the library and having the opportunity to check out. So I'll let you know how that goes throughout the summer and how many students actually sign up for that different library card, just a way to connect more. Following my department head reports, Barb Rakowski with information technology, pages 38 and 39, facilities 40 and 41, April Stevenson for information services, her pages are 42, 43, 44, and 45, and if you can see on page 45, I'm very happy, as you can see, I highlighted in yellow. We met our goal. Our goal was 250 brand new preschool readers for the 1,000 Books program, and at this point right now we're at 273. That will grow because we are using that particular program for the under 5 age group for summer reading this year. So we'll continue to reach those kids and keep continuing them to read through the summer. Yes.
I see a facilities assistant position was filled.
Yes.
Is that a full-time or part-time?
It is a part-time position. We actually had, he's actually still staying on, but he's going to be leaving us, our current part-time person. So the new person will start next week, and we'll do some training and get going from there.
Who is leaving?
John Gregoire is leaving. He graduated from school, and he's been putting out applications for a full-time job.
Okay.
We knew that it would not be long-lived, unfortunately. He's been great.
I thought it was interesting on page 38, where in the IT report, where it talks about making a flange on ourselves on the 3D printer for something that we needed and that we saved nearly $1,000. I don't think any of us anticipated something like that when we got that 3D
Right.
printer in.
Right.
But it's nice, obviously, not to just do that and save the money, but that people are thinking about, gee, we might be able to do that ourselves, and they probably got some excitement out of doing it.
They did. They
So
really did. Yeah, and that was for one of our
that was very
security
nice to
cameras
see.
that had to be replaced.
Please
Yes.
pass on a
I will,
happy
absolutely.
congrats.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
will definitely do that. The following pages is the report from Mary Ann Zermulin from Support Services. Things are going well, and obviously our read boxes are definitely being used. If you look at page 48, it shows you the start of the amount of materials so far for May, which is 335 materials for youth and 43, a total of 378 materials just for that 1 month that was taken from the read boxes. And then following our additional reports, I kept them all this time. I know you were asking for specifics, but just knowing we're getting towards the end of the year, I kept them all included for you. The Friends have had a couple meetings. They've had their April and May meetings. They did approve their budget. They also approved the wish list for the library, which we certainly thank them for, because it allows us, that's on page 65, the wish list. It allows us to do some exciting projects, one of which the IT department is really excited. We are going to be dabbling in virtual reality programming, and this is because of the Friends and their generous donations. So that type of programming will get going in the early fall, October-ish. They're planning for a virtual reality weekend where people will be able to drop in and actually experience virtual reality at the library. So more to come on that.
It was nice to see that the meeting rooms, even through May now, we're up 10% over the prior year.
We're going like gangbusters on meeting rooms.
I'm sure at times that's a headache for somebody, so again, well done.
I have to thank all three, and Julie is one of them. That office, the ladies, they have a wonderful system, and the phone rings constantly, which is a good thing. I mean, that means people, know that they can call us and potentially have a space available if it's there. And, this weekend is our wedding. So it's on Saturday the 24th, and I think once that happens, people will see how the building might be able to be used even more differently than regular business meetings and things too. So we are able to accommodate small receptions of about 100 people at the building, and I do believe we have a beautiful space for it as well. I would like to give a shout out. Our facilities department in the last month has been doing a ton of work preparing the building for this event. If you've been to the building lately, we had the brick pavers that are in the front of the building. Those have been resealed. The color has been brought back to the color in the walkways. They've been doing painting. They've been doing touch-up work, cleaning of ceiling tiles and cobwebs and windows, and so this all just so that it looks just a little extra special for this Saturday.
Yeah. I was attending a meeting in the East Room in the library this past week, just as a normal person would, not a board function or anything, and it was really nice to see. We had more people show up for the meeting than we thought, so we needed more chairs, then we needed more tables, then we needed another table, then we needed more chairs, and they magically appeared literally in seconds. So very attentive work and very much appreciated.
Thank you. I will be sure to share that with them. I do believe we've got a great team, both IT, all of them are. I know our facilities, gets called on a lot for things, and they really do come through for us. On page...
How many people are in the facilities now?
We have 1 full-time and 2 part-time.
Okay.
Yep, which has been our normal for a few years now. Yep.
Good.
On page 68 and 69, I just want to bring your attention to the fall and spring. Already the Friends have planned their programs for 2017 and 18. So if any of these look good and appealing to you, I hope you'll put them on your calendar. And then I do have some minutes that are included on page 70 through page 76, which is our Novi Historical Commission minutes. They are doing well with some of their projects. And then on page 77 is the bits and pieces. This is from the Library Network, which is our consortium. If you look down to the middle of the page where it says update an integrated library system RFP process, just wanted to let you know that we have chosen a company and we will be moving forward. They're hoping for a June 2018 up and running and close of this project. So in this next year, this will be a big project for both support services and the information services departments as we provide a new catalog to the public for public use, but then also our behind the scenes, the library card checkout and the bills and fines and all of those software components. Those will all be new, and both of those departments will need extensive training in order to be able to work with the patrons. So this will be a big endeavor for them.
Are there improvements that the normal user is going to see?
Well, hopefully when you type in a title, it might pop up instantly, because that's honestly, one of the challenges we've had with the old system is it was not intuitive enough to pick up simple titles that similar to your Google search. So it wasn't as robust, the search engines. And yes, we saw that upgrade and that improvement with the new system that we're going with. And I think that's a big part of.
Will there be any changes or improvements to the app in those same functional areas?
The app is separate, so we'll have to see how it integrates with the app because it is two different companies.
Is there any additional software or computer, computer information, we have to upgrade?
Right.
Is there a cost?
There are costs involved, however, the costs are cheaper than what we're currently paying with the new system. And those charges come through the cooperative, and we pay those on a quarterly basis. So it's nice that we should be saving a little bit of money.
This page 77 in the middle is a picnic and membership meeting. If this is in Farmington, this is every year they do that?
They do this every year for directors for the cooperative, yes.
So what they discuss there?
Well, they'll probably discuss this year, sometimes they bring in a speaker. They'll probably discuss this year the new ILS and us going to the new system. But it always depends on if they have a new vendor that might want to give a presentation. It varies every year.
Okay.
I do want to point out then in the last paragraph is the Michigan Activity Pass. And I included with you on page 78 the flyer that comes from the library network. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, and I wanted a little bit of FaceTime to share with our community. We do get usage on this, but this is an opportunity for you to check out places to visit, actual museums, parks, through the libraries here in Southeast Michigan for free. So as you can see in the paragraph, they've expanded to hundreds of venues that you can actually go online, you print a pass, and then you use that pass to go to certain venues. It's small little museums that might be in little towns. The zoo is part of it. There are a lot of opportunities for some activities that you can take part in through the library. So I encourage patrons, and you as well, if you're looking to do like a day trip somewhere, to check this out and see if there's a pass available. And finally, on page 79, it was very, very last minute that we were able to bring in Tom Sharp, who was drummer for the Styx, but also is currently drummer for Mannheim Steamroller. He was on the patio performing on June 10th at a Saturday morning at 10:30. We had close to 70 people in attendance on the patio for only a 2-week notice. He was amazing, and because of that, I'm hoping that we'll be bringing him back in the spring. So he loved the venue, and he has family here in Michigan, which is how we got him. So he was traveling up here already for a reason and called us and said, "Hey, do you think you want a concert?" And I took him up on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, his music is amazing, and if you've ever seen Mannheim Steamroller, the music actually went through First Park. I mean, it was just beautiful, his instruments, and it was a great morning. So everyone enjoyed
Good.
it.
I hope you get him back.
One of the people who sits like next to me, or where we usually sit in church, said that he had been there, and it was the first time he'd been to the library. He came to the library because he heard that this concert was there.
Great. Well, good. There's a new patron then.
There
I
we
love
go.
it. Any other questions that I might
I
be
have
able to
a
answer?
handful.
Yes.
On page 30, under
Okay.
the State Fair Luncheon, what was that, like, what, are we gonna be a part of it? What was that for?
I did not sign us up to be a part of it this
Okay.
year in terms of the
I know
library.
you mentioned that before.
To be quite honest, because it's so big and it's for the whole state, I didn't find a unique benefit for us specifically for the library. However, I have stayed involved. I'm not on their board this year, but they did invite us because they had a new launch of one of their sponsors, which was Ram Truck. So we were invited to hear, but I'll keep you posted if I get any tickets or any opportunities for you to attend the event. They typically keep the library board involved. But yeah, they're a different capacity this year. I had helped last year with getting them some authors, and they have moved on and taken that into full force. They're doing a fantastic job. They're got even some bigger events. But we will definitely promote it for them, for the community to know. So that's why I attended.
Very good.
And also, we have an in-house TV program at Fox Run called Out and About, and I understand that Out and About with camera and people visited the Novi Library today, was it?
They were here this morning, yes. So
it
Christina.
will be fun to see that.
Yes, Christina Salvatore and I met with Tom and Jerry from Fox Run, and they wanted a full tour with some discussion about our art in the library. And then also we're going to get ready and plan for an event in September where we will welcome Fox Run residents to the library for a little after hours music and we think probably a scavenger hunt with our artwork. So to
We're
get
so fortunate for the partnership that you've established. So
Oh, thank you. It's been great, and they are wonderful to work with.
I had the opportunity to be in the Meadowbrook Activity Center. I think it was in early June. And there's a television monitor up there that we have a lot of stuff scrolling.
We do.
Just a suggestion, when I looked at it, some of the images didn't fit very well.
Oh, okay.
And then the other thing, there were dates from April to November showing up. So I don't know if at some point in time, there was no years. They were
Right.
all in months.
Okay.
And I don't know that there's much value to having prior month stuff, because it could get confusing.
My
And-
guess.
And it's quick also.
Right. My guess is we send over, and it's Meadowbrook that actually handles.
And
Yeah.
it might well be, and maybe it didn't bother anybody else, but I'm looking at it, and it was scrolling, I thought, pretty quick.
Okay.
And then the dates I found to be confusing.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay,
you know,
I will-
was
I'll have Christina check
December
it.
early or late? I don't know, it's 6 months away.
I will have Christina check it.
Okay.
I have a couple more questions. Can I?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I have them highlighted. I have to tell you, page 40 and 41, I thought the way Keith Perfect does his facilities reports, that the window washing and everything is squeaky clean was very sweet. I love that. And also that the plants are still alive.
Yes.
So tell him thank you for
They
that.
are
I love that.
challenging, I have to tell you, there's a lot of them in the
I love his
building.
reports. I have a question about the 71 boxes that were delivered to Thrift Books.
Yes.
Do they pay us for those? I mean, because I see that we've made.
We do. We
Yeah.
actually are donating, these are materials that they've been looked at by the library, don't fit in the collection, no need. They've been given to friends for potential bookstore. And then from there, it's like, what do you do? Well, some of them we can recycle, but the Thrift Books is actually taking all of them and they do a resale with them. So anything they sell that we send over, we get a cut. And we've seen about $700 come back from us being able to get those books to them and off our property. And I know then that I can consciously tell the community we are not throwing away materials. Don't worry, you know, that we're trying to find a home for them if we can. At the same time, the library benefits a little bit from some revenue coming back.
So it's kind of like consignment.
Yep.
Very nice. So how is the plans for the wedding going? Is everything
You know,
good?
I've been in contact, everything seems to be going smoothly. In fact, I know that Gail, who is heading up the whole entire event, had a final meeting with the mom this week, and that went well. And so we're just praying for good weather. That would be one of the big factors. We do have a backup plan if it does rain, because they're planning to be married just outside Township Hall, so that the family can enjoy the amphitheater and sit in those seats. If it rains, the Township Hall will be opened and will be available to have that ceremony in there. And then the reception starts at 6 o'clock at the library. So she's had her meetings with facilities to make sure that the facilities department is all set with everything that needs to be put together. rehearsal and setup tomorrow actually begins, and most of it will be ready to go tomorrow. We wanted the family to be able to come in, give us any last minute,
Nice.
critiques and stuff. But we've had wonderful success from the sponsors, and Gail will also, just like on the road, will write up a final report to all of you so that you can see what's been entailed. But I do believe the family has been happy with, the planning and the preparation. As you know, it was literally a free event, a free wedding for them,
Yes.
close to $25,000 in gifted food, dresses, rings, a number of, honeymoon car, you name it,
Wow.
was donated from local businesses. So
Is there going to be, any, like a Detroit, Novi News or anything like that?
they've been contacted, whether they show or not, I'm not certain, but
Okay.
they have been alerted.
Okay. All
And
right.
I will be there that evening, so I plan to stay till about 9 o'clock or so and just make sure through dinner and everything that it's.
How many
going well.
guests will be coming about?
They're allowed 108 based on and that's for seating at tables, based on our requirements.
I have a question on page 42 about the eclipse glasses kit and the solar eclipse. Are you guys doing anything special for that in the library?
Point out, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
where-
sorry, left-hand side, right in the middle, under, the library will be receiving an eclipse glasses kit from the Space Science Institute. On page 42?
So this is a program that will happen in August, so they're going to be getting that. It was brought in.
So are is there any programming around it? Or-
Yes,
Yeah?
it's, to me, as I'm reading it, it's in preparation.
Okay.
And I think she is planning some
Okay.
programming. I can find out for sure, but I think that's why they did it.
I was just curious. Okay. And on page 46, sorry, I have a lot of questions.
Sure.
The catalog database cleanup project, what does that mean? What are they doing? Just
Catalog database, that's cleaning up records and stuff that might be old and outstanding that, sit. And this is a good time to do that because we're going to do a large migration
So-
from the current system to a new one over the next year. Big projects that happen in Mary Ann's department so that, records stay up to date.
Thank you, those are all my questions.
You're
Looks
welcome.
like the restaurant is doing okay. No-
Cafe,
Yeah.
I'll be sending out some information to you.
Oh, is that?
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other comments or questions on the issues we just looked at?
No.
All right, we will move to 13, the committee reports. Policy Committee, Trustee Mishner.
Sure. Everyone should have the policies that we dropped off recently. And we're hoping that we can get a board approval. Me and Maureen worked really hard, Julie, and went over everything explicitly, but we're open to discussion.
And Craig was quite good as a reader in checking some of the grammar and spelling that we missed, because his signature is going to be on there.
And I thought we had a really good conversation at our board retreat and
Yes.
our goal setting to answer any questions that had come up.
Would you want that input now or at a later time?
No, I think
Immediately, because we do have to get them passed,
Approved today.
yes.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
Unless you think these are major issues that warrant more, but I welcome any thoughts.
Go ahead, Bill.
The policy manual entitled Collection,
Okay?
C6, Collection, Evaluation, and Maintenance. I don't see a page number on it.
We don't do page numbers because they change
Okay.
so frequently, so I apologize for that. But I am there, yes, go ahead.
My concerning question has to do with the third element under the guidelines that are followed, poor content. What do we mean by that? Is that?
Where are you?
Poor condition of the book, the content of the book deteriorated? In other words, this is something that presumably was judged to have had acceptable content at one time.
Might be
Are we now
outdated,
saying it
but it
doesn't?
could be outdated. It could be outdated, it could be not relevant anymore. I mean, so using the word poor could mean that. It might not be deemed appropriate anymore. And I know that we're very careful about that, but there potentially could be a book that literally seems like it doesn't make sense to be in the public library. So we want to have that opportunity if that's the case. We handle any concerns, and we look for patrons if there is a concern of a material. You know, we look for reviews and things to back things and to make a material actually fit the collection at most always. But if there is something that doesn't seem to fit, that would be what that
So a book might have been
defines.
approved years ago, and upon a second look at it today.
Right, it might not seem relevant.
Okay,
Absolutely,
thank you.
Is that similar to what we used to call weeding?
correct. Yep.
Well, while we're looking at the policy, let's go ahead and discuss it. Any more comments, questions, et cetera, regarding the various policies in the policy manual?
As a member of the subcommittee, I was just very pleased with the input from the entire board and also with Julie's response. There was not a question that Tara and I raised that she did not take seriously and look into and have, on several of them, have lawyer look at for
Correct.
the exact wording. So I'm feeling pretty secure that we raised the essence, the questions of essence, not the periods and misspellings.
I
but,
got you. Sorry about that.
That's good, no, we're glad.
The other one is probably more for information as
Sure.
opposed to anything else. It's under building, B3, hours of operation.
Oh,
Okay.
I know we just changed something a few months ago where the doors opened, I think 15 minutes earlier, maybe so people could get out of the weather. or
Correct.
something. Here it says the lobby is open to patrons 10 minutes prior to service hour. Did that change? Is that the same thing, or was that?
We never had the language, so the red language that you're reading is us putting it in now to let people know that we're doing it.
And it
So
is
we-
10?
It is 10
I had
minutes.
15 in mind.
Right,
so-
it's 10 to 10. We actually have an overhead that announces to the staff that the building will open in 10 minutes and that the gates can come down and we allow our patrons to come in. And that's always been 10 to 10. Yep, you're welcome.
Tara, go ahead and move, I'll support you.
So I'm looking to see if you guys can give us a board approval for the policy manual.
Second, the approval.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Well done. Lots of work.
I had an amazing group that helped from the library staff working on this, so thank you so much. They'll be very pleased to see their work come to an end as well and be able to use these. So Tara and Doreen, thank you both for assisting us with this and asking your questions. We went through this, took a lot of time to go through it, and I thank you for all of your feedback. They will be very pleased to see this.
I would also like to compliment you on the way you presented it. You gave us the entire book, and then at our last meeting, you just gave us those ones that showed changes. And so we were able to really hone in on the changes, and it was helpful.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate all the work everybody did on this. It's one of those things that sometimes can get overlooked until there's an issue that affects a policy, and then you go look at the policy and you're not sure what it says, so good job by everybody involved.
Thank you.
Well done.
Okay, HR committee, do we have something to talk about?
Today we are meeting director's evaluation after this meeting.
All right,
That will be done today.
okay. Finance committee, I don't think we have anything at this time.
None at this time.
Events, marketing, fundraising committee.
So this is the fun part. Well, I hope you guys feel that. But if you could turn to page 32, me, Melissa, and Julie had a incredible meeting. I think it was incredible. I have my months with me to help, but. So we have a couple of different things going on here. If you see page 32, this amazing card is what Julie is going to make sure is attached to the circular that goes out to different demographics. So basically, the goal is to have an amazing library card campaign. There's a lot of people in Novi that come to our library and enjoy it, but there's a lot of people who don't. We want to get to those people that don't because they're missing out. We don't want that. So what Melissa and I were really impressed by, and I have to give this credit to Julie more than us, they came up with a really great targeting campaign. So on page 33, this specific one, if you see, it has under elementary age, preschool readiness, storytime programs, special events, magic, dance, robotics. You can see that there's somebody that they're reaching for here, yes? STEAM programs, art and crafts. So this is actually directed more so to parents, okay? So you see the kids, all that stuff, right? So that's specifically what they would receive, and there's a specific group that would get that. The card that you see on page 32 would be attached to that, so all they have to do is come in and start their work. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to think, oh, now I have to go to the library and figure out what to fill out to get a card. It's already there, so some of the guesswork is gone. If you flip the page, 34, you'll see some different advertising here. Who are we targeting here? We have knitting, we have cooking classes, there's some author events, health seminars, and much more. It's a little different than the page before, right? So we have used bookstore mention, we have large print materials, movies. So here we're really, Doreen mentioned, like, are we thinking about our older population? This is our 55 and older group. So yes, we are thinking about them, and we are sending them a special flyer just for them. So they are getting that. If you look at page 35, different group. So we're still seeing some cooking classes here, so that resonates with a lot of us, right? But then you're seeing space to hold meetings, foreign language conversation classes, business classes, resume workshops. So this is more to your professionals or your adults without children. So maybe I'm sure you get fill in the blank of who that would be. I won't go there. But book clubs, etc. So we really want to make sure that we're taking the time out to give people what they want. This library offers a lot. We've all said it. We've all partook in it, at least I know I do. But aside from the 55 and older, I've been the other categories, and eventually I'll get to the 55. I'm not rushing that. But I think it's good to have something targeted to specific groups so that they want to come. If you're 55 and older, you might not care about preschool readiness. If you don't have kids, you definitely don't care about that. So it's nice that we're being purposeful and determined with who we go after. So that's the first part.
Tara, I wonder when I looked at it, why the big square in the upper left-hand corner about the 199,000 public libraries in the United States, I didn't feel connected with that number.
You didn't at all?
Pardon?
Okay.
And so I'm just wondering why it has such a prominent place on the invitations.
So what you see on the left-hand side of the page, on each page is what we call an infographic. It's just, usually it's like a graph that a lot of social media professionals use to display something. I think the goal there was to talk about how many public libraries are in the United States to kind of connect them with, there's all these libraries, but you have this one. That's my thought.
And I agree with you. I think it was trying to let people know that they are relevant and important. And when you see that big number, so they were, and this was from we're working with Oakland Schools on this, and their marketing team, along with the card design, came from Christina out of our office. So we've got two different, designs going and design work going. So that was their thought as well, is to really talk about the importance of libraries and then that big number of how prevalent they are.
That stands out to me so much more. And I've just become aware with my macular degeneration that when you have light print on light colors, it's difficult to read. And so when you have on the preschool page, for example, all the circles have white in them, and then you have this huge, wonderfully strong, large 199,000 number, that stands out to eyes that don't read white on pale background print as easily.
So then we should definitely think about the 55 plus on page 34 and maybe making those changes to that particular flyer.
I think, and then, like the August 15th, yes, I think so.
Okay,
Like
and we can do
bifocal
that.
kits and magnifiers, you need a bifocal to read that print.
And I like that you...
Yes, I agree with
I
you.
like that you brought that up, so I think that's definitely something we can.
It is. It's definitely something I can take back. We have not approved these yet.
Good.
So thank you.
A couple of other really important points that I didn't necessarily say. This card is special to this population. So our cards don't look like this, but their cards will. So, on page 32,
Yes,
they get their own card, so it is unique
Yes.
to them. So I don't
Yes.
think that I said that. I just said, this is a great card, it'll be attached. It is their card. So it's really making
nice.
them feel special, and obviously, the person at the desk will be able to see this card and know they better view their game with customer service.
Right. This is a
Hopefully
new
they always
person.
are,
But this is a new card coming in and someone that we reached out to through the mailer.
Yeah.
So the 3 groups of children under the age of 18 is one household we're targeting. Double income, no children, and 55 and older. So and I just received today, actually, the final numbers. We will be sending out 8,700
wow,
designed envelopes. On the one side, I didn't put that in, but there's a designed envelope too, so when you get the envelope, it says Novi Public Library, and it has some of this information on the part where you're opening it, so that they know it's from the library. Then you open it, you'll open up the 3-fold, the library card, this design will be attached, physical, real card, that you'll be able to pull off and then bring
nice,
in and
nice.
activate at the library.
Very
We're
nice.
actually putting card in hand for them to come in and then join the library.
very nice.
And if
And a
they
really quick
come,
point,
Yep.
there's a drawing. If you
Yes.
didn't see that in blue, sorry. So there is a free drawing. So if they do it between August 15th and September 30th, they do have the opportunity to get a fabulous prize.
They do. It'll be a basket, and I want to give a huge thank you to the Friends of the Novi Library because they supported financially a few $1,000s to go towards this project to be done, along with also creating the basket that will be for the raffle as well.
It's a very attractive card.
Isn't that, it's Christina Salvatore from our
Very
admin office that designed it. Something really different that when my staff, it doesn't look the same but a different color. This is totally different, that they're gonna know that this is someone coming in new, hopefully, that obviously hasn't been in our building, that's going to activate that card.
If I understand, you're saying this plus the envelope will also have the attractive colors?
We'll have some attractive colors and stuff to it as well, yes, yeah,
Back to the eyes
yes.
on the older adult,
Yes.
in the blue box on Bring Your Library Card, if you could make that print just a little stronger.
I will see what we can do, yep.
Do we have an expectation as to what this will bring?
It's a great question. The meeting that I had with Oakland County, I'd love 50%, right? So 8,700. He said to be realistic, the realistic number is 10%. So 870 new cards, which I think is great. I do. I'd like to see more. I won't lie to you.
and what
But
we talked about is, let's say 870 of the cards come in, that may be a mom, but maybe the dad will get a card, or maybe a child.
Right.
So if we have 870 just from the
This is
mailing,
households.
and then they add on, or husband and wife, so
That's
there's
great.
still room
That's
for
true.
growth
Right.
above that.
there
number.
is. There is.
I assume that you'll be tracking what comes in. Will
Which
we
is
be-
why we did the different card, and yes,
Will we be able to track geographically where they came from?
we will, because we'll have all their address information as well.
One of our goals is to, yep,
Yes,
okay.
yes. But this is going, just so you know, this is going across the city. So it'll reach the north end, which is a concern of ours, but it's also going to maybe, John Smith, who literally lives 2 streets over from the library and doesn't have a card. We want to make sure everyone in Novi had the opportunity. We took our database that showed us already households that we already have library cards in, and what we did is then we are sending out specifically to households that don't have a card.
So this is going as a mass mailing?
This will be a mass mailing that will go out, correct?
That will be a little bit cheaper than the,
Yes, it will. Yes. And it's planned to go out and in homes August 8th, with this actually starting August 15th. So they should receive it about a week before the August 15th date of telling them to come in and get, and renew, and start their cards.
it's up.
I know one year in Ann Arbor, the Ann Arbor Public Library sent out cards to all the high school graduates. And, kind of like said, welcome to the adult world of blah, blah, blah.
Right?
But you probably have a close enough connection with the students here already, so.
But that is another area or space, a demographic to look at actually in the future. I wanted to try this just to see, I wanted to reassure you, this is not a cheap endeavor.
No.
Which I appreciate you supporting just to see what can come of doing this. I don't think we would be doing this every year, please know that. However, what I can tell you is with us leading into the lending library in the spring and launching that, we'll be able to take the data and check off those that got new cards and the ones that still didn't. We can send just to the north end and say, hey, we've put in a location near you. And we can give them, we can go out to the community and do signups and give them dates of where we're gonna be if they wanna sign up. So we can use that data then and even narrow it down further to target again. And I would do like a postcard. I wouldn't do something as elaborate, but just to connect with them.
Any other questions on that
Yep.
specific piece?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think this is
I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this for years, so this is good.
So, do you guys like shopping? Because you get to. If you turn over to the next page, me and Melissa have some fun with this as well. So we have a couple of options for you. We've been talking for a little while about trying to find a polo shirt that represents our trustees. We have so many events, and even I asked about the on the road. Wouldn't it be nice if I was able to wear my polo? So I could have some great conversations if I did get to join this year. We want to be welcoming, we want to make sure people know who we are, but it's also nice to be able to wear something comfortable and stylish too and look like we fit in. So here you go. Here's the ladies' shirt at the top, and then there's the gentleman's shirt at the bottom. You can choose your color, you can choose your size. You probably want to get that to us tonight so we can get you a shirt. But we worked really hard to make sure you guys got the best, right, Melissa?
Yeah, we looked at different styles, we looked at what it was made of, fits, and we wanted something where it would be nice and, yeah.
There's no uniform color. You choose what you want and what you think you look good in, because some people may look good in one color and some people may not. We want you to look good.
Is there a preferred color for the library?
There is not, because we've actually gone to different colors and allowed the staff to choose a color that fits them.
Well, partly because I know the city of Novi likes light blue, but we don't like a color better than another one.
No, we're very colorful.
And what will be on the shirt? Will there be something on the shirt?
Yeah.
It's the Novi Library logo, and it'll say trustee.
To identify you.
And what color would that be in? Does it matter?
It'll depend on the color of the shirt you choose, because if it's a lighter color, it'll be a darker embroidery. If it's a darker shirt, it'll probably be a white, would be my guess.
And how does the size run? True to form, or should you order large if you want it roomy, or will large just be huge and boxy?
I don't know the answer to that. Do you think Big Frog would have the shirts there to try on?
I can find out. This isn't through him.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not. But if you give me colors, he'll be able to work with the colors we have.
Okay.
We can get some shirts from him.
Okay.
And see.
Yeah, I think if he has similar shirts, he would probably tell you just to come on in
Right.
and try them on, because he does have different styles there.
And we could
Do you
do
know
that.
where
We
Big
could,
Frog
Where is
is?
No,
Over by,
it's in the town center.
in the town center. Yeah, over by Walmart.
Yep.
It's they do embroidery and
so it will be embroidery?
they do.
They do.
Yeah.
No, it's not a stamp, it's the
No, this will
embroidery.
be embroidered.
They have both. They have,
Yeah.
they have both embroidery and they have,
So this will cost us $19.98?
this is not Big Frog's cost. So don't worry about the cost.
Okay.
I'm not as much concerned about that. So why
We
don't I
have the
do?
budget.
Yeah, why don't
It's
I,
okay.
why don't I do this? Why don't I reach out to him since he's local? And I will set up maybe a week's time where you can go in and decide on a shirt size. I'll let him know that I've got 7 people who will stop in for a polo shirt, men's, women's. You can do that, and then he'll invoice us and go ahead and place the order. Would that work?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can go to the shop and
Yes, you
try
can.
it, whether it's a XL or L or whatever.
Great, okay. I
Now
will
the
do that.
color will be, everybody can pick up any color?
Yes, you can pick up whatever color they have available for that. Okay, great.
Very good. Anything else?
That is
That's a lot.
So we
yeah.
don't need to give you this.
I made notes, let's go back real quick, if you don't mind. I'll let you know what I wrote down. So I have a note of changing, hold on one second, I'm sorry. I have a note of concern for the white print. So I'll look for them to change the white print, and then bigger font and,
Just a fatter print.
gotcha, okay. I'll see what they can do.
Gee,
Eh,
what the heck?
Anything else on those topics?
That was it for our committee.
All right, very well, thank you. The Strategic Planning Committee. Anything to talk about?
The only thing I want to put out there is that it's time. 5 years have gone almost by. So I will get a meeting, and we'll need to just have a first preliminary meeting and start talking about, opportunities for what direction we want to go in the next year. Okay?
Okay. Building landscape, as you see well, go ahead, Julie, you can address it, you were there.
Illuminart has been in the building. They did a walkthrough with the facility staff, did a full assessment, and we did receive, they offered an electronic copy of our building plans. I've received them, which was very nice of them to do for us. And I'm just waiting on their information and the details in order to work on the bid.
That will be helpful.
Yes, I know.
So if the bid goes out the first week in July, how long is it open for?
Typically, a bid like that would probably be open for about a month. Yeah, and my goal is to have it go out the middle of July before I go on vacation. So it's just if they can get it back in time. The bid itself and getting it out there literally takes a day. It's going to be the in-between of the language that they help us write, make sure that we're all comfortable with the language and all the details. And I did send them the city's language that's typically standard language. They already have that.
General conditions.
They already have that already to work in. So I'm just waiting to see, so we can see it. I'm looking for a draft at this point, and I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I really hope we're able to stick to that time frame. This project has had
You
a
have a-
long life so
I
far,
know,
and it
it sure
hasn't
has.
gotten
Yes.
underway.
You have a
so.
contract with them already?
With Illuminart to do the bid language, yes.
How much they're charging?
That's the $7,900 that
So
was,
they didn't reduce anything?
they did not,
Okay.
no. They did not.
If they give you good quality, it will more than pay for it.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm okay with, I don't wanna see this go into December, but if it's them taking this time to, this is a lot of details, all the different types of lamps that we use in the building all has to be detailed, and then they're looking for options if that lamp isn't available anymore for the type of lighting to put in.
Yeah.
So I do believe there's a lot of work there for them to figure out.
And I think you were exactly right.
Yes.
It will more than pay for itself. if
Yes,
it's
it will.
done well.
I saw our electric bill.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're not cheap, are they? I
Okay.
know.
Bylaw committee, anything? I don't
Nope,
think so.
we're good. Yeah.
Okay. We have reached the second opportunity for public comment. In order to hear all citizens' comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect a 5-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, therefore library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. Seeing no one coming forward, we will move on. We are at matters for board action. The first one, which is approval of public policies, we've already addressed and given approval to. 15B is the approval of an additional $11,500 for the permanent and temporary staff salaries based on information received from the city of Novi. The additional money would be added to the 17-18 budget. City of Novi administrative employees it says will received.
Will receive.
Will receive a 2.5% increase for meeting expectations on performance evaluations.
It is between 0 to 2.5.
No, it is,
Only the 2 point,
Everybody gets 2.5?
no.
no, meeting expectations is 2.5. If you more than meet, it's 3%. If you exceed expectations, it's 3.5.
It's a
And-
level system
Yep.
for the raise.
If you are still improvement needed, that's 1%, and if you are less than that, it's 0.
When we approved the budget
We approved
before,
2%.
we approved it at 2%.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're looking at increasing that number, the 0.5%, but that's not across the board for everybody.
No.
That's just for that level of a raise.
So the
And-
money, sorry, ma'am.
And I was going to say, and that is to bring us into compatibility with what the city of
With the
Novi is doing.
city does.
We thought we were there at the 2%,
Yes.
but then they changed to 2.5.
They
And so
raised
this is now our chance to go up to
Putting it in
that.
alignment, correct.
So
We-
we have a,
I'm sorry.
2.5
We have
budgeted,
it, we have it at 2% budget.
2%, but you said we'll be going to
So
The
what we're
0.5
discussing
is this,
tonight is raising it to 2.5,
5.
and which is increasing our budget of $11,500.
Okay,
0.5.
so the budget for the increment for the staff will be 2.5.
If
That's
they
what we
meet
would-
expectations.
That's what we would like
Yes.
to do, it if they meet expectations. Yeah.
No. You are keeping a budget for 2.5% for the staff increment.
Not
No?
all.
No.
Not all staff.
Julie,
No.
maybe you can
Not
explain
all
the
staff.
different levels of.
No, I know
Oh, you do.
what
Oh,
she is
okay.
trying to
Oh,
say.
I'm sorry.
But if I understand, that's what I used to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We have been given 11,500 for the staff. And now, that's why I said 0 to 2.5%, but it is 3.5%. Some people might get 1%, some people might get 3.5%.
No.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but
Yes.
it really is, the 11,500 is only for those who would already be receiving 2%, because they categorize that.
It's
And
not
now
changing-
it's
And I
to
took
raise
into
it.
factors
It's
what I know
now
of
to
others.
put the additional 0.5% increase to keep up with the city. So it's only those who were already receiving 2% will now be receiving a 0.5 in addition to that, and to keep us compatible with the city, and that cost is 11,000.
So that's what I'm saying. Now it is 2.5%.
Yes, sir,
Yes.
that's what we're
To
talking about tonight.
Say,
But not for
now we are saying that each staff member will get 2.5%.
No.
For meeting
No.
expectations
Let me-
for that specific group.
That's what I'm saying. So it can be 1%,
It
it
could
can be
be.
3.5%.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The range will be,
Yes.
Right.
The range is 0 to 3.5.
that's what I said.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's what I'm saying.
With the different
Yeah,
levels,
But,
yes.
but the total cost will be this much money you have to spend.
Correct.
Correct.
But this is only an increase of that 0.5 for those already receiving 2.0 on the performance.
Or
Is that
anyone
correct?
who is above that, because I made sure that that was taken into consideration. I didn't want you to be short. Yeah.
See, there is the money there,
Yes,
then you have a 1% to 3.5%.
yes.
You do whatever you want, but you cannot exceed that much money.
Right,
That's what
and
I'm
we
asking.
already budgeted for all of that. This is
Yeah,
an
11,000 something you.
No, this
No.
is in addition.
No, this is an addition.
This is in addition.
Whatever the money you are keeping it.
Right.
You said this is our budget to
Yes.
give the increment for the staff.
Right.
Now it depends upon our director whether it is 1% to that individual or 3.5%. So, but the point should be the money should not be exceeding that. That's what I'm asking.
But we are asking to increase the budget.
No, you are mixing up the point.
Oh, I'm
You-
sorry.
What is the total budget you have budgeted? 11,000 or 12,000?
No,
No, the full budget is, that we approved is on page 3. Is it the permanent salaries?
Yes, you're correct.
So if you look on
Page 3.
page 3, under 2017, 2018, approved salaries is 795,000.
Okay, that's the budget you.
That's the budget.
That's the budget of the
The salaries,
salaries.
with the increases included.
Okay. But
yes.
how much is the increment you're putting extra in that?
We're asking to increase that.
Today, we are going to do the increment to the staff.
Now
I have to
Only
understand.
some.
we're asking to increase the budget from 795,000 up to
805, but then you gotta do the other.
805.
So
Yep. That's
800,
for permanent.
So then total will be around.
800,500.
Right.
So- So
800,500.
that is 8,000, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
That
we're-
is the budget.
Yes,
You
so-
want to distribute between the staff.
Yes,
Whether we have 1% or 3.5.
Correct.
But you are not exceeding that top.
correct.
That's what I'm asking.
So we're asking to increase our original budget from 795 to 800,500.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
permanent,
For permanent, yes.
and then temporary, there's another.
Oh, for temporary too.
difference.
Okay, yeah, so for
Because
temporary.
I gave you the total cost of
I
11,500
was gonna say, I didn't
for
think that
all of
was the
those.
full amount.
Yes.
And so temporary salaries would go from 686,000 to 691,000.
So, Julie, you will be meeting those who are very, very less, but you want to bring them to the level of that this will take care of those in the discussion?
We
have?
already did that. That has been part of the other the budgeting that we did in the winter. And I haven't had a chance to meet with them yet because I wanted this one last piece to finalize it before I sit down with those that are getting bumped up because they're out of range. But this is just performance evaluation.
So they've already had their evaluations?
The evaluations were just finishing.
Okay.
I am receiving them literally on the 19th, which was this week. I literally received them all for me to look through and see what each of their department heads determined where they, in their performance, where they stood in order for their percentage to be granted to them.
When that's all completed, would you give the board information as far as how many people at each of those levels?
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
So you will be giving, or that the supervisor of the department gives the money to the
No,
individual?
I do it.
Individual, everybody?
I don't do it individually. What we've had to do is, they've already met and had their meetings, and they've been told where they fit. Meets, more than meets or exceeds, or improvement needed. So they know where they fall. I couldn't give them a percentage yet because of this conversation. Then we'll be able to share with them. I will have meetings next week to let everyone know, if you got meets, you're going to get 2.5% increase in your.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
The supervisor has about seven. So the supervisor will be telling each one of them
No,
how
I
much
will,
they
because
got.
I'm having meetings, and because we have so many staff that are part-time, an email will also go out so that everybody knows where they fall based on this meeting tonight. Yes.
No, who will be telling the individual person that you got 1% or 3%?
They will know already what their performance is. It's me just telling their percentage that goes with it.
That you are doing, not the supervisor. That's what I'm
Yes, I
asking.
am doing that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking.
So this
Excuse me.
11,000 is only for those people who thought they were getting a 2% raise and now are going to get a
Yes, we're high,
2.5
right.
based on keeping us
Yeah.
with the status of the city of Novi.
I redid the figures to see, yes, what that difference was.
So I assume that you knew how many people were rated at that level?
Sure, because I had conversations
and
with
then
department heads in advance.
That's how you got to the 11.5.
Absolutely. Yep.
I would make a motion that we support the increase of 11,500.
Second.
I was going to say more, but that's good. Thank you, Bill.
Is there any discussion on this? Any additional discussion? If not, we got a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It
Thank you
passed
very much.
unanimously.
The motion's kind of blank, but it's okay. We don't need to get into that. So it's better. Less is more.
It'll work just fine.
Less is more.
All right. 15C, approval to adjust the 2017-18 budget to expend the LED project out of the 269 account versus the 268 account.
That was so smart.
That is trustee Augusta's idea.
That was so,
Yeah.
please make the motion, trustee Aguirre.
I would ask that we discuss it. I would
First,
like-
okay.
I would-
Thank you.
I know you'd like to jump right to that.
Well, I like to discuss
Let me tell
it
you
if
my
we have a
thought
motion,
process
so that's
quickly.
okay.
I know that using fund balance, and when we had that small little error and, we unexpected, it was a great concern. So when we were told about the 2.5%, and I realized it was going to increase the fund balance, and then we were talking about the LED, I said, why don't we move that LED? That way it will decrease the budget even more, and that's what the fund was made for. That's what that money's for, is to help our library. So I think it's a win-win. So we'll actually, by moving it out and increasing by 11,500, we're actually decreasing our fund balance use from 189,976 down to 131,476. So
Phenomenal.
brings it down, a lot.
And obviously I'm going to be the dissenting voice, when we originally decided to use 268, we did for a couple of reasons. One is that essentially what we're doing is buying light bulbs that will lower our electrical cost. Electrical costs come out of 268, so we use the money from 268 to buy the bulbs. They get installed and it lowers to 268. So it's still kind of an operating expense. It's certainly not, in most cases, a capital outlay. So that was the logic, as I remember, why we did that. The other thing that I think we might have talked about is the fact that we are clearly running way ahead of our current fiscal year budget. So we're going to be good no matter what we decide on this.
Correct.
It's
You
not,
are.
and it's going to come out of one or the other, so it's probably not a big deal. There is from time to time some scrutiny with regards to the ratio of our budgeted or actual expenditures versus our fund balance. You can look at it on one side and say, if the fund balance starts to look low, are we in trouble? On the other hand, someone has from time to time looked at it and said, wow, your fund balance in 268's gotten quite big.
And you're sitting on it.
You're sitting on it, okay? I don't think that's ever occurred with 269 because they understand what it's for.
Right.
For those two reasons, my preference would still be to take it out of 268.
That's a good point.
Any other discussion anybody wants to have?
So the big distinction is that it would come out of like a capital fund that was deliberately designed to do projects like this, as opposed to the regular
I
operating.
would not agree that it was designed to do
Okay.
projects like this.
Okay, all right, that's what I don't know.
Okay.
What would you say, Sarah?
For the 269?
Yeah, I mean, could it? Yes, it could. It would not be, I don't think there's a right or a wrong. It would not be improper to fund it out of 269. To me, it made sense to take it out of 268 because you're really going to save it in 268. So if you pay it up front and it gets paid back, and the payback on this is about 2.5 years, and then it accrues quite nicely afterwards, you're really helping 268 by spending it out of 268. And again, like I said, the other consideration is simply the scrutiny that may or may not come from the fund balance growing with regards to what our annual expenditures are.
My question for you is 269, we were talking about using that for building improvements and fixing the roof. So, I mean, we were still going to be using the 269 for the same similar things for our building. So, that's a discussion we were going to have for next budget. So we were still going to use that money for our building in the future anyways.
That's true.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
I mean, which is kind of similar to, I just thought with the new lighting that we really are going to be setting ourselves apart for so many, we're going to be an example. I mean, we didn't have a lot of places where we could look and, we're setting such an example for so many other places and, pioneers in a sense, right? I mean, for libraries. So I just thought, that in that aspect of it, of taking our library to such a different level.
It's a foundational, if you would, decision.
Yeah, I'll be honest,
Well, you have a motion.
Yeah.
Here's what you should do. Keep your motion on the table
Okay.
and do a vote. You'll
don't
see
have a
how
motion.
people feel. Because your motion, can you reread the motion,
We
Julie?
didn't have a motion.
We haven't had.
Oh, I apologize. I thought
yeah,
you did have a
no.
motion. I apologize.
No,
Okay.
I just kind of gave an explanation and
Gotcha.
Yeah.
right now we're just in
Yep,
discussion.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, now you're looking for a motion.
Tara, but it's
She's like, what?
Is there any more discussion or questions? Anyone? All right. Approval to adjust the 2017-2018 budget to expend the LED project out of the 269 account versus the 268 account for the amount of $70,000.
Correct.
Motion to approve?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
Okay, so we've got 5 that are yes and 1 no. Great, okay.
Good, it was a good discussion, yeah. Good discussion.
Is that rain?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Oh, I was gonna bring my umbrella. I didn't.
okay, I believe we are at the point where we are going to break for an executive session for the director's evaluation.
Yes, and then you'll come back and adjourn. If there's any decisions made, you would make those decisions at that time.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
They do all online postings of all kinds of events all over the place.
We are reconvening. We have met in our executive session. At this point in time, is there a motion based on our discussion of the director's evaluation?
It's coming out of the director's evaluation, I would like to move, based on the evaluation and the discussion of performance and Julie Farkas's self-evaluation and assessment, that following that discussion, I would move that the board grant a 3.5% increase based on her exceeding expectations of this board in her role as director of the Novi Public Library.
I second.
We're writing notes here.
Yes, Ramesh, second. Thank you.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Enthusiastic.
Unanimously passed. We have reached the point now where we can have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor, aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.